This time we're going to talk about bass line. When you have a chord, you're going to take like C7, you know. C7, you know, you have a root, you have a third, fifth, and a seventh. Okay, that's the chord. If you make a bass line, you're going to be able to play the note of the chord, of course. You know. But you can also play all the notes of the mode that goes with that particular chord. In the case of C7, you're going to have C mixolydian, the fifth mode. So you can use all these notes to make your bass line. But what you have to understand is like there is no rules of which octave you have to use. You can actually use any octave. You can, if you have a C here and an E here, you could use the low here, the open here. That's the same note as, you know, the F or the G or the A right here, E or the B right here. If it's a B, but this is the B flat, so B flat. Okay, so the B flat. So when I'm going to play my bass line, I'm going to be able to use all these notes here, but I can use these one as well. I in fact could use the same note up here. Okay, so when we're going to start with the simplest things, you know that bass player, we are the guys playing the root and the fifth. You know, if you listen to a lot of songs, that's what you get. You know, in some very rock and roll songs, they're only playing the root itself. So you can play the fifth here or the fifth here or the octave. You know, when you don't know what to play, just play the root and the fifth and you'll be cool. In fact, I can, you know, if I'm sight reading a jazz tune which has a lot of changes going very fast, I'm going to play the root and the fifth or the root and the third. I'm not going to go, you know, the first time I'm reading, I'm just make it kind of simple. You understand what I mean? So because in fact it's our job to play the root. Okay, like that the pianist and the guitarist can play little inversions and they don't have to play if we're doing that. So bass line, so let's talk about those notes. If I place, you know, the B flat here, if I have a seventh, I say I can grab my B flat right here. So I want to do a little run, then I can use my mode right there. So what you have to keep in mind is like it's up to you to try to make something very nice going with the melody, and you can try a few of these notes. You try the seventh, if it's a dominant 7 chord, and try with the third, and try to, you know, add those things, you know. It all depends on what the type of music you play, but it's up to you to make it sound good. We're going to talk about minor chords now. C minor 7 is the same than the other one, but instead of having a major third, it's got a minor third. So you can play it here or you can play it here. The B flat is right here, so you probably learn many times. Kind of bass lines like that. It's minor. You see, that's a dominant 7 right here. You know, the root is here, and then we play the minor third and go back to the root. That makes a nice bass line. Or this kind of movement with the fifth going to the dominant 7 back to the root. Because I'm not playing any third right here, it would work on the C7 or C minor 7. You understand? So now if you want to add more notes, you could, because the D is here, so you could play that note right here. I could do like adding a 9 to the chord. See, I'm putting the 7th, the 5th, tonic again as the octave. Same thing is you're slapping. You're not going to be able to use, you know, you have the root, the 5th, chromatic movement right there. I start on my dominant 7, then I just do the chromatic movement. That works playing bass lines. And in fact, you have one of the bass lines that on the page that I put where I actually walking, where I use, chromatic notes. These notes are leading to the right note on the beat. Okay, that's the way we use chromatic. You just don't put chromatic anywhere. You're leading to the right note from the chord that is on the beat. So slapping, if I'm